Now this looks so bad, and you're probably thinking, poor Debbie. Molly is putting up a video today that I did on my own, and apparently I did not have the camera situated correctly. I was in a vertical position instead of a horizontal position. Y'all, it is a learning curve for me, and I apologize. So she said that I'm going to be in a square instead of a rectangle, and I hope that is not too annoying and that you will find something redeeming about this video. Thanks for watching. Hi, it's Melony, and I've got to get this started or it's not going to happen. I was going to paint outside. I have a strange painting system. I have a deer feeder and a card table, and I put the card table up next to the deer feeder and put my canvas on it, and then I paint. Well, it's raining right now, so I can't do that. So I have brought my canvas in the house, and I'm using my couch to paint, and that's not really, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, except to say, sometimes in life, you wait for things for them to be ideal, you know, the ideal situation before you get started on something, and then the ideal situation never happens, so you don't do it. So my thinking was, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this and see how it goes. I would like to be done before my husband gets home, because I don't think he's going to be that crazy about me painting on the couch, but I did put a beach towel down. I'm hoping that will help. And I'm just going to give it a whirl, or it's not going to happen. So here we go. Painting on one's couch, and I'll just visit with you if that's okay while we go. The first thing I thought I would tell you is about my living situation. And that is, we used to live in an old house from, it's an old farmhouse built in 1909. It was actually in another town. And from what I know, the house burnt down, part of it did. And so somebody came and, okay, let's not use that one right now. Someone came and bought the part of the house that was still good, and they moved it out here into the country onto this land. And so it's an old farmhouse, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I raised a family here, and you know, all that is good and wonderful. But as I get older, as my husband gets older, and we have grandchildren in town, we thought we would fix the house up and sell it. So we ended up having to have the entire foundation repaired, because in old houses that are on pier and beam, sometimes that happens. So we had to basically move out of the house so they could come in and repair the foundation. And oh, I'm stuttering, I'm sorry, but I don't multitask well, so, oh, got it. So we moved out, and we moved into what, when we originally bought the property, was a little barn thing where the people raised emus. So I'm living in the emu barn, kinda. Over years, we fixed it up. In fact, my late husband got ill with cancer after we moved out here. And my Connect group at church was so kind as to fix this up into a place that was livable for my grown sons, so they could be here and spend time with their dad before he passed away, and be a help and mow and do all those things, which is very kind. And then I had a brother-in-law that came and did some of the finishing touches. So that's chapter one of the emu house. And then years later, after my husband did pass away, and I ended up marrying Bob. Bob came in and saw that this would be a great like mother-in-law's home, and he did some revisions to it. We've put in new flooring and appliances and that kind of thing. So when the big house, this is just going on forever, isn't it? When the big house needed repair, we just decided we would move out here. And so that's where we are. Now, I'm terrible with square footage. I doubt that if this is more than 500 or 600 square feet, I don't know. It's tiny. It's what you would think of as a small, like, assisted living apartment or something. But I have to tell you, I've liked living out here. It simplifies life, and that you just only have so much room. So you just have a few things in here, and we have everything we need. We got food to eat and roof over our head, and it's cozy. I like it. I've seen that I'm a kind of person that could live in a small home without any big major problem, except I would want another building for all my arts and crafts and all that kind of thing. So maybe take back that whole statement. I don't know. The big house has been repaired, and it's got all the flooring in it. Not the flooring, but what is it, subfloor in it and all. So we've still got some steps to do on that. But anyway, that is why I'm out in this tiny house. I'm out in this tiny house and decided that I was gonna paint today. And that is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna use that right now. I'm just gonna use my paint. Let's see, how can I hold that up? Ooh, this is gonna be very, very tricky. Let me ponder for one moment. I'm just gonna do the best I can. That's all I can do. So I'm gonna dip into my paint. I think I have a water bottle sprayer somewhere. I will get it. Molly is going to be doing the editing. Molly's at her house. She'll do the editing on this, and I'm hoping she will be compassionate and know that when you're doing an art project and stuff, you have to stop and think, and there's probably a lot of things that are going to need to be edited out of here. So I'm just going to paint green circles on my canvas right now, and I'll tell you what I'm doing is I painted some hydrangeas not too long ago. You know, blue hydrangeas. And I think they turned out really good. Had an ocean in the background. Maybe I'll insert a picture here so you can kind of know what I did. But I posted it on Facebook. And y'all feel weird about that sometimes when you post something you did on Facebook and you want people to know that you're glad you did it, but you don't want people to have to say that they like it, but I don't know, I guess you do want them to like it. I don't know, I try not to do too much of that, but you know, like, hey, something worked out for me good. You want to maybe post it every now and then. So I posted this big painting I had done of hydrangeas. And one of my sweet friends mentioned that she liked it, which was very nice. And I just thought, as sweet a friend as she has been through the years, that I would try and surprise her and do her a painting. This is a big canvas. This is a really, maybe 30 by 48 or something. Like I say, I'm not really good with measurements, but I'm thinking that's what it was 30 by 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See if I can get a couple more in here. A couple more circles. And many of y'all know I'm not really a painter or a fancy schmancy artist of any type. I just love painting the whole process of it. It's just fun, and it feels very therapeutic, shall we say. It feels very therapeutic. So I like getting the paint out and just having a little fun. So this is how I did the ones before. I just made some big circles on the page, and that kind of shows where my hydrangea is going to be. Now, do y'all know what hydrangeas are? They're those beautiful, I think they're beautiful. I can't think of a flower, I guess, that isn't beautiful, but they are blue and lavender, all kinds of shades of blue and lavender together. And then they're a unique flower, and then I think you can change what you put in the soil and make it turn into more of a pink and lavender color, which is pretty cool. But they're just big and they're full. In fact, I read that their name Hydrangea comes from the Greek word about water in a vessel, something about a water vessel. I don't know Greek either. I'm just telling you something I read. I wish I knew Greek and Hebrew. That would be so interesting to be able to know that. But in fact, I do not. So I'm in Northeast Texas, and I have hydrangeas, and I just think they're just gorgeous. And I've never really done anything to them to help them in any way, which makes me appreciate them even more. When a flower just comes up and blooms and blossoms, and I didn't have to do work to get it to happen. Now, I'm sure there's probably things you should do, but I haven't done it, so I don't know. So the green is going to be, I'm just kind of putting down a base coat between all of what will eventually be the hydrangeas, and kind of doing varying different colors. And I'll come back in and define it and make leaves. I have found with paintings that they can really be really ugly until you get your act together and get them all the way they should be. So right now I'm just filling that in. I just have some old brush, nothing fancy. I don't like to do fancy because I know myself good enough, and that I probably don't take good enough care of things like brushes and all like I should. So I haven't invested a lot of money in brushes. Ooh, there's my first strip, but I put a box underneath. So let me see what time it is. Do y'all paint? Do you do anything like this? I've kind of dabbled in stuff all my life. It has to do with paint or creating or cutting or gluing. A friend and I were talking about a craft that we did, I guess, back in the 80s. Do y'all remember this? It was called Schnare and Schnitte. Did anybody do that? and it's German paper cutting, and I remember having a great time doing it. It was very intricate little cuts, and then it would make a picture, and you usually did it like in some kind of black special paper. I've done so many different kinds of things. And let me tell you about who I'm doing this for. Okay, and here's the thing too. She said that she liked the painting. Now, did she say that to be nice and complimentary? And at first I thought maybe so. But then I think she's told me twice. So I thought, well, maybe I just need to listen that she really does like it. But y'all, the thing about art is it's kind of personal. So what you might love and look at in someone else's home and say, oh, that is so pretty, it may not mean that you want it in your house. You know, it may look good right where it is with their furniture. And you think, oh, that's really their style. And so you say, oh, that's so beautiful. Well, maybe it's beautiful for them, and you mean that sincerely, it's beautiful for them. But you're like, oh my goodness, I would never want that in my house. So that's my dilemma, is wondering if when she liked it, did she mean she would like it in her house, she liked it enough that she would hang it in her house? Or did she mean, that's really good, Melony. I can tell what that is that you painted. You did a good job. I like it. I don't know. But she's a very sweet friend. So I feel like I can tell her that if she doesn't want to hang it in her house, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I appreciate her initial compliment. And she can pass it on to someone who might. I'm thinking, is that true? I really wouldn't have my feelings hurt? No, I really wouldn't, because that's one thing I do think I know about myself good enough to know that the things that I put on my walls that I look at all the time, I'm a very visual person. So I really like to know that I like what's up there. Well, there's some things that I have that are sentimental, and I guess they're so sentimental that I really do like them no matter what. Maybe they really wouldn't have been my style or something I picked out. But so this is a friend of mine that I knew way back in the early 80s, and we both went to the same church, and we met in our, what they now call connect groups. If you go, I don't know if that's just a Baptist thing or maybe other churches have the same thing. You know, it used to be Sunday school, but you don't call it Sunday school anymore. And then it was small groups. You know, you'd go to your small group class. And now it is called Connect Group, because it's where you connect with other people. And you live life together, and you pray each other through the hard times, and you are joyous with each other in the good times. So back in the 80s, we were both fairly newlyweds, and we ended up in the same connect group and became friends. And what I have always appreciated about this friend, and her name is Debbie. I don't just have to keep it secret or anything. Her name is Debbie. What I liked about her is that she was just one of those kind of people that brought people together, that she would pick up the phone and call or say, let's go do this or let's go do that. And as much as I love that, I'm not a good planner. I don't do that well. That's a good thing for a friend. I love friends who plan. I need to plan more, because it's not because I don't want to be with my friends. I'm a bad planner, but that's not an excuse for not planning those things. But I appreciated Debbie, and she would pick up the phone, and we both had little kids, so it was often one of those things where you're talking and you're saying, you know, Hunter, get down from there. Laura, bring that back over here. You know, she would be talking to hers and I'd be talking to mine, and hey, get off the couch and quit breathing on your brother, that kind of thing. And so we would talk, and we would watch our kids at the same time. But she never let that stop her from calling me. And I'm not a good phone person. I can think of a million reasons why I can't call you. That you're probably busy, you're right in the middle of something, and I can just picture people when I call them just going, oh, I didn't want to talk on the phone right now. And so the way I work that out is I just don't really call people too much. Also, not necessarily a good character trait, because you can't have relationships with people unless you talk with them some and visit with them some and get to know them. And if you're a personality type like mine, I guess I'd just never have too many friends if I didn't. I need to take more initiative. So Debbie was a person who took initiative, and I was grateful and I appreciated it. So on Thursdays were a big day because we had Mother's Day out. And Mother's Day out, I think, was from 9:30 to 3, maybe 9 to 3. I don't know. I think 9:30 to 3. And so those were a few hours where we could run our errands or do something. And I think I'm gonna let that be a hydrangea down there. Y'all can't see. It's off. See if I can scooch. But if I scooch that, see how big this canvas is? This is a big canvas. So I'm gonna be bending over right now. So we had that many hours, kind of a freedom, where we could go and do without kids. And so anytime we could, we would get together and go eat Mexican food. Was the best, absolute best thing to do. And just visit and talk, and you know, if we need to grocery shop or go buy a new shirt, whatever it was. Neither one of us, both of us were on a budget at the time, and so we understood how the other one didn't have bukus of money to be spending. And so we just had fun times together. Now I do remember there were times when she had 3 and I had 3, and there were times when you couldn't take your child to Mother's Day out because they were less than 6 weeks old. So we would just drive around town. Kids would be in the car seat and we'd pull over, and we were both nursing mothers, and so we would pull over and visit right through that. So you can't beat a friend like that. You just can't beat a friend like that. Now through the years, our time together decreased greatly, but Debbie is one of those people that you can get together with and you feel like that no time has passed, and it's easy to catch up. In fact, it doesn't take long at all to be knee deep in conversation. So, a good friend. The other thing that is wonderful about her is she has a wonderful husband. And his name is Marty, and he would absolutely do anything for anybody. Okay, all that's going to be, I know it looks horrible. It looks horrible now, but you're going to be surprised because later it's going to look good. All right, let me see if I can flip this around a bit. Painting on the couch. Not highly recommended, and yet. Anyway, an example of what a good guy Marty is was after my husband died. I was here out in the country, and I was still raising. I had 2 kids left at home at that time. I have 5 children altogether. The 3 oldest ones were finding their way. They were in college and work and that kind of thing. And I had a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I just lost my husband. It was one of those, I'm breezing over it right now, but you know, it's just one of those gut-wrenching times in life where I just thought, how am I going to get through 15 minutes without him? And God is good, and you just keep going. And those 2 kids, my youngest 2, gave me a reason to get up in the mornings and get going. But I can remember Marty coming one day and looked outside, and he was doing something outside in the yard. And I was like, what in the world? Like, what are you doing out there, Marty? And he said, well, this is time of year that you put down ant poison. Does everywhere have ants? Is that just a national thing? In my area, we get fire ants, something awful, and they hurt, but they'll just pop up all over the yard, ant beds. So he said, this is the time of year that we put out ant poison. And I just remember that just touching my heart. I mean, who would have thought to remember the widow, which I know that's a biblical thing to do. We're supposed to remember the widows and the orphans. But he really did it. You know, he really did it. And many people did, but it was just special to see him out there and to think of something like that my late husband would have done, but couldn't and wasn't there anymore. And I never thought of it. I was just trying to grieve and get through life. And so there was Marty doing what was necessary to keep us going, and he put down ant poison. A simple thing, but I have never forgotten it. And it's been a reminder to me to do the same thing for others when others are going through trials. I'm not nearly as good at it though. Not nearly as good at it. Sometimes my intentions are good, but I can't figure out exactly what to do. And you know, if you ask people, a lot of time they'll say, oh, we don't need anything, we're fine. And I was fine. And I was getting through, but there's just nothing like that. There's just nothing like having somebody step up. And I had many friends that did that, but I would say Marty and Debbie are one of the top ones that just showed kindness. That's a good thing. So that is who this is all for. Now this looks so bad, and you're probably thinking, poor Debbie and Marty, if Melony's going to deliver this to their door. But it really does get better as you go with each step. So I think I'm going to stop for today, and I will pick up next time. And maybe we'll have some other story I could tell or something about life. Everybody has life stories. I appreciate you spending time with me here, and Molly will probably edit the next section to this. So y'all have a good day. Bye. Okay, y'all, I'm back, and it quit raining, so I've moved outside. And in the background, there's a couple of peach trees, and then there is my deer feeder and a card table. And this is what I've set up as my, ooh, I hear something in the woods. Maybe it's a squirrel. Okay. So this is my little like impromptu art area. And this is part 2 because I had to stop and had to eat lunch and all that kind of stuff. So here I am working on hydrangeas, and I looked up hydrangeas. They mean unity or togetherness. I guess different flowers mean different things, so that's neither here nor there, but I'm letting y'all know. And we'll move you just a little closer. I'm so sorry if I'm making you sick. Okay, so this looks hideous. Hideous. But eventually you're going to see it works out so good. So good. And that's the fun part about art, is it doesn't always look good in the beginning, but you know, we get there. So the hydrangeas are going to go in those green circles, but I want this to be a beach scene, so I've got some paint. And I meant to tell y'all, well, that's not a good one to show you. Here's one I haven't used before. I use DIY paint. This one is called Prom Queen, and I like DIY paint because it's clay based and it is so rich. It's a rich paint, and you can just add water to it and reactivate it if you mess up. It's just a cool kind of paint, and DIY paint. So that's what I'm using. I found my spray bottle, and I just put a little water, and I'm gonna make just the beginning of what's gonna be a beach, which is funny to me because I could count on one hand probably the number of times in my life I have been to a beach. I know some families go to the beach all the time. Some of y'all probably live on the beach, or it's just a few minutes away. But where I am, there's no beaches. I'd have to go to, you know, Texas is a big state. I've been to Galveston. And growing up, going to the beach and going to the water was not anything really that my family did. I would have enjoyed it, I'm sure, but we weren't raised with camping or anything. We were just kind of home folks. We stayed home a lot. And vacations usually entailed going to Arkansas. My family had land, has land. My grandparents lived up in Arkansas, and it's beautiful up there. And so a lot of times we would go to Arkansas, and that's where we'd have vacation. So every family is so different, just so different. You know, experiences in life makes us who we are. But I think I would enjoy going to a beach. Not especially to swim, but I think I would just like to soak in the view. I think there's something about looking at the water and the ocean that's just very calming. And the water just kind of goes on and on forever, and it's just maybe inspiring would be the word. Anyway, it was not something that we did, but going to Arkansas is probably something y'all didn't do. So we all have different experiences. I can't imagine living by the ocean, because I am in, now I know people have different thoughts about Texas, but I am not in the part where, you know, you look out and you can see for 100 miles. I am in the piney woods. So there's woods all around. Lots of pine trees. So, all right, so I'm going to work in a beach. There's going to be a beach there. But I also need to work in the ocean, figure out where it's going to go. And I'm just kind of gently mapping things in where I want them. This is Nothing that I'm doing right now is going to be exactly like this, but it gives me an idea where I'm going. So I'm going to just kind of put in where I'm going to want the ocean and the sky to go. And I'm going to see if I can use a bigger brush so y'all don't have to hang out with me for the rest of the day. I cover a little more real estate with a bigger brush. All right, so I'm putting the ocean in out there. It's kind of straight lines all the way across. Okay, and if that's gonna be my ocean, oh y'all, if it starts raining out here again, I just heard thunder. Y'all gonna see this chubby girl run. All right, what else? I need to do sky, so I'm just gonna, that's a sloppy way to do it, but that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna dip into the white lid and just kind of eyeball my sky there. This clay paint dries so quick. It's awesome. Now, I told y'all I was painting this for my friend Debbie. I think in life you can learn things from the people around you. If you'll open up your eyes, you know, and do it. Sometimes I just don't pay good attention. But one of the things that I like about Debbie is that she has had the courage to change careers. She started off as, I think, a social worker, and she did that, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years, and then she was finished with that, and then she became a teacher, an excellent teacher. And then she finished up with that, and I guess felt like she'd done all she needed to do in that department. And then she went back and got her real estate license. You know, I was just thinking, poor Debbie, I'm gonna have a whole video on her. Whether she, you know, she may tell me, don't you be putting all that out there. But I bet she won't mind. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking it's gonna rain again. The wind is blowing. The leaves are falling. I hear some thunder. So y'all can see that I just kind of mapped in where my beach is gonna be and my sky. And I guess I'm gonna have to have a part 3 on this. That got me a little further down the road. Thank y'all, and I think I'm gonna tote all this back in the house. All right, bye. Okay, y'all, I'm back. It hasn't rained yet, so I'm still going strong. And now I'm gonna use a piece of a trim that my husband has been using to remodel the house I was talking about previously, because I want fencing in this background of this picture. I want like a beach picket fence, and so I'm going to use this to measure. So I've got an art watercolor Derwent watercolor pencil, and I'm just going to go through here. I probably should start in the middle. Yeah, you can see me there. So I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm just gonna make some straight lines that are gonna represent a white picket fence. I've always loved a white picket fence. I still want a white picket fence. White picket fences, to me, ooh, I hope these are straight. We're gonna say they are. Just make me think of happy and home. hope I'm doing it. That'll be one, that'll be one. Okay. I cannot talk and do what I'm supposed to. If you also noticed, I have filled in my circles with some blue and lavender. And everything still looks terrible right now. But you're gonna see that I think it'll turn out pretty good in the end. Okay, I'll keep you updated as we go. Bye. Okay, I changed some stuff because I think I goofed up, but that's the fun part of painting is it's just paint, you can paint right over it. So right now, I've still got the flowers kind of circled in, and the water, the sand. I took out the post pickets. I think I did that too soon. I jumped the gun on that. So now I am just experimenting with color, and I've started on this one. After my round circles, I'm just kind of going around and making little paintbrush dewdrop kind of things for petals. So I think I'm fixing to call it a day because really and truly it could rain any second. It's so cloudy out here. So maybe tomorrow I will have a little bit of time and I can do a little bit more. All right. Hi y'all. I am trying to finish up my gift for my friend Debbie. It's Saturday evening and it's getting close to sunset. So I got to get my act together. I painted a bunch of blue blobs the best I could, and I'm calling them hydrangeas. Hydrangeas by the ocean here. And I put a sealer on this thing, and if it didn't smear one of the birds that I had drawn. So that's the way it is with art. I can go back and I can sit here and criticize this thing to death, and I can think that hydrangea looks like an ugly oblong blob. It should be more round. I should have put more blue in. I should have done 100 different things. And if I do that, I will never get this to my friend. And I really want to have it done. But isn't that the way we are? Whether you sew or whether you write or whether you sing, I don't know. We can be so critical about ourselves. So I'm going to try to just know I did my best, and she's my friend, and I think she will be kind. So as I have thought about friendships through the week, I was thinking about what my daddy said about if you get through life and you have 5 good friends in your lifetime, you can consider yourself blessed. I think there are some people who can just attract friends. Don't you think? They're just like friend magnets, and they have big circles of friends. And then there are others of us, I think, that our circles are smaller. Not that either one is either or better or worse, but I really just think it has to do with different personalities maybe. So I cherish the friends that I've had in the past. Some have just been for a season. Haven't you found that too? That there are times in life where certain people come through and they mean so much to you, and you share experiences, and just the ebb and flow of life recedes some friendships and brings some to the forefront. It's just one of those things that happens. So I always try to end my videos with something profound. I think that is one of the hardest things to do, is to know when to quit talking. And I just want to say something that you'll just think, wow, that was really something. But I don't have anything that's really something. So instead, I'm just going to thank y'all very much for watching this and watching me paint for my friend. And leave a comment below. I would like to hear about your life. I'm in the deep piney woods of Northeast Texas, and I know that some of y'all are in places I have never been before, but I would love to hear about, and I would love to hear about your life. So thanks for sharing mine for a little bit. I hope it got you through a load of laundry or a lunch break at work or whatever. I'm most grateful and I appreciate it, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Molly, this is part 2. Part 3, Molly, part 3. Part 4, Molly.